All the content contained in this webcast is for information purposes only. Technologies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Friday's edition of Pre-Market, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, good morning to you, Dennis. It looks like the rally continues on Wall Street.
It does here, Joel. A little bit. We're up $2. What a wild day for those tech stocks there yesterday. It's just everything taking off. They were talking, Morgan Stanley put out a report that they might do the NASDAQ 100 rebalancing, which would give Microsoft and some of your other techs a larger weighting and take a little bit of the weighting from Apple. And that's why you've seen this wild ride in the tech stocks yesterday.
Yep, we couldn't have been more wrong yesterday, Dennis.
we didn't have good calls there. That Morgan Stanley report really screwed us over.
Okay, moving on to the S&Ps. Pretty mild, almost a 6-point range here in the pre-market. So far, the morning low stands at 1353, little $2 away from that. Holds as the low of the day. We have an upside target of 1367.50. So far, the current high, the new high of the move, 1358.75. That's just slightly above Wednesday's high at 1358. If that holds as the high of the day, we have a downside target of 1344.25. Right now, mid-range on the day, 56, 1356 is our swing area. Moving on to the Big Ten, ExxonMobil able to bust through those highs in the 84.70 area. Got up to 85.69 with closing at 85.41, pretty much unchanged in the pre-market. If, in fact, we can bust through that high from yesterday, we will get up to 86.22 to 86.44, which are the 7- and 8-day highs. Coming back on the downside, I see we've snuck under 85 a few times here in the pre-market. I will use that as the first stopping point on the downside.
Starting to form some nice support down here in the 84 area. I don't think that's going to come into play today, but you had 1, 2, 3, 4 lows right around $84. Yesterday's low being 84.08, so we are getting some decent support down there. This 86 number has topped us out a couple of times in the past. So yeah, the whole 86 area could give a little bit of initial resistance, but you're right, Joey, take that out, you got those couple of highs, and if it takes those out, then it looks to open up a bit.
Okay, moving on to our next component. Just whipping around yesterday. We got a close here at 502.21 with a 504.89 high. Looks like we're bumping up against that 504.89 here in the pre-market. I've seen we've popped up to 506 a few times. But that 504.89, I'd use that as your swing number. You get above that, there's really no resistance in this. Coming back on the downside, support at the close, of course, 502.21, so keep an eye on that. And I kind of like this 497 area. Don't have a great number in there, but encompasses Wednesday's close and Wednesday's low right in that area. So after the 502.21,
it was a wild ride in this one again there yesterday, Joel, having an 18-point range. I actually got short just right before the market opened, about a half an hour before at 497. Lucky enough to cover it around 492. The stock did make a low of 486 and then just started rallying all afternoon. Ends up $5 more. So I don't know what to say about this. You thought, that it might. I thought it might get a follow through. It did in the morning, but that afternoon strength really, really surprised me. So kind of makes me hesitant to try a short here. So it's kind of in the middle of where it was. It made the high 526, low 486 over the last couple days, and at 504 we're kind of hanging out in the middle. So I'd wait to see which way it starts to break.
Okay, moving on to our next component, another tech stock, IBM, Dennis, still just being contained in this range from mid 193s down to 192. We dipped under 192 a few times, but it did hold as Thursday's low. Currently up a little bit in the pre-market. I would use the close 193.02 as mild support. If we can finally break above this 193.70 area, perhaps we'll get a chance to make a run at the all-time high. But to me, it's just amazing the tight range that IBM's been holding really since the beginning of the month, Dennis.
Yeah, it really has, Joel. Been a very tight range. Every time the stock got above 194 in the last couple of weeks, it's been met with sellers. You wonder if it could get above there today and if the same thing would happen. We are on options expiration, and sometimes you get some wacky opens. So if this thing's to open in the mid 194s, it might provide some opportunities to try a short there. Above 195, that's where 194.90 is the 52-week high. Call the whole area 195. I expect a major high frequency resistance in the high 194s. If it can take out that 195 area, then maybe we could get out of this range here, Joel.
Okay, moving on to our next component, Chevron Corporation, Dennis, opened right on that support, just like many other stocks in the SPUs. Couldn't quite get to Thursday's low. Got a nice bounce. Closed at 106.52, Dennis, with a 106.57 high. This is huge resistance, Dennis. We have several. I'm looking at this. Four highs between 106.24 and 106.57. I mean, this thing's knocking on the door, breaking out here. What do you think, Dennis? What do you think the chances of Chevron finally busted through this 106.50 level?
Well, pretty good. And no trades here yet to report in the pre-market, but it is bid at 106.80, and with the market up, maybe it does open up over this resistance. So if it does do that, then I'd use that area that you just talked about as mild support. Looking, if we do break out over there, you had a couple of highs there, and this 107, just trying to get the actual prices, 107.50 and then 107.41. Those were from about a week ago. So you got those couple highs there, it might give you a little bit more resistance. I'd still say, and even the whole number theory, looking at 108. So even if it does get above there, it's still going to be running into a little bit of few spots of resistance.
Okay, and on the downside, really, if it can't hold this 106 area, 106 and a half area, I do see a spotty trade in the pre-market, the 105.80 level, so we'll call that support. Mr. Softy, Dennis.
Wow, Joel.
I mean, that thing, I looked at it, I said, the market's opening lower, this is opening higher. It opened higher, and it just never looked back from that opening print, Dennis. Once it got through that 30.80 level, I mean, it just took a quick look at it, busted through, got up to 31.55, Dennis, settled at 31.28. It's going to have a hard time getting back up there to that 31.55 level, but if in fact it does, I'm sure it'll be met with some sellers. Coming back on the downside, mild support, probably the psychological $31 level, but I'm sure you'll find real good support at that 30.80, the area we broke out from. I'm sure a lot of shorts will try to be reeling that position in if we dip back under 31.
Yeah, Joel, just crazy. The Morgan Stanley report that they might do the rebalancing really gave the stock a lift. It opened at 30.30, basically the low. I shorted the open, looking, thinking, well, Apple's down and this text may, actually roll over. I hung out in the trade for 3 or 4 minutes, and then it's just started to show strength. And I'm like, something's up here. I was just saying to myself, something's got to be up, because I started seeing some other tech stocks that were moving higher too. So luckily, I actually covered. I think I lost a dime on it only, just realizing that something was up, even though I didn't see that report as of yet. And obviously, the stock never looked back, so I got really lucky to only lose 10 cents on that trade. And that Morgan Stanley report was really the driver here. Saying that obviously it might be a bigger part of the index in the future, and that's what just kept driving the stock. And that's got to be the best day for Microsoft, and I don't know how long, Joel. I can't remember the last day it went up over $1.20 in the intraday.
Yeah, that was a big move, and playing the breakouts and just playing the numbers. That was a rare opportunity. Moving on to our next component, the song remains the same with GE here hanging out around the $19 level. Opened up, made the low right near Wednesday's close, 18.80, so that'd be our support. We are actually trading above Monday and Tuesday's highs by a whopping 2 cents. You got to wonder if eventually he's going to make like a Microsoft like move and finally bust out of this area. If in fact it does, we have a 6-day high up at 1935. Maybe it'll be something news driven, Dennis.
Yeah, Joel. I don't know what to say on this thing. This thing just stays in this range. This is, the channeltrader.com's dream stock here. Every time it gets up in the 1925, 1930 area, it sells off. Every time it gets down to that 1865, looking just here on the chart here, that 1875 to 1880 area, it finds buyers. So I guess you just keep playing it that way. If we get to the high end of this range, I think you sell. You get to the lower end of this range, I think you buy it until it doesn't work anymore.
Okay, Procter and Gamble has just been sneaking itself up here to over 65, Dennis. 65.20 closed. There was a 65.40 high. Currently bumping into that high right now as we speak, 65.40. Above that, you have a high back from January 23rd. It's 65.94. Coming back on the downside, I would use 65.20. The close is a mild support comes in at the Wednesday close, Thursday low at 64.55 to 65. But this thing's just been a slow, steady march.
Yeah, it's broken out through that 65 area now we were talking about. I'd expect maybe if it pulled back, you'd find some support on that old little resistance level. There was that high from 2 days ago at 64.94, so I'd call that whole area 65. I think it's pretty open here, Joel. I think it's pretty open until the 66 area. So, if this thing can get some momentum going, 66 would be the next major test, just using my whole number theory there.
Okay, J&J snuck its head up above 65 yesterday, 65.16 high with the 64.92 close, trading right around that area in the pre-market. For you patient and longer-term investors, anywhere under 64.50 down to 64.25. Excellent support. We've talked about it. So far, our theory of not a triple bottom has not worked since J&J's made about 6 lows in that area.
Made a lot, Joel.
And next time it's going through, Dennis.
Yeah, I'm not going to be the guy that calls that going through that area. We've been highlighting this one. This is one we've had actually right on the show. We get some stuff wrong, some stuff right. This chart formation from back in late December, it's identical to what has happened here in the last month, where we broke through at 66, got up to the 66.32, came all the way down, made multiple lows here in the 64.25 area, and now we're actually moving back up, and that's what it did before too. So just following this old chart formation, if that's the case, this thing's probably going to hang around in the 64.80 to 65.50 area for a few days, and find some resistance in the 65.5 before eventually probably retesting the low at 64.25 and possibly moving back up to that 66 and retesting that area. So another channelingstocks.com play here for you. 64.25 being the low end of the range where I would be a buyer, and 66 being the high end of the range, the 65.90s, where I would be a seller.
Put your GTC orders in.
That's it.
Okay, and closing out the Big Ten, Pfizer Corporation sniffed the $21 level again. Actually, Wednesdays and Thursdays, 21.05, 21.06. Dennis, you're getting all of this week's highs have been between 21.43. We're bumping up against that in the pre-market. I think if we can get above that level, 21.53 and the 13-day high at 21.79. But so it can get going, but it can't make a major move.
Yeah, the range actually almost identical to the range the day before. Just looking at 21.06 was the low yesterday, and 21.38, and the day before was 21.05 and 21.36. I don't really know how you get 2 days closer than that. I don't know if it's going to be the third thing today, but I would definitely think you find a little resistance here. Maybe we open up into this resistance. I was calling the whole area 21.5. So if we open under 21.5, I think that 21.5 will still provide resistance. And 21 overall is providing support. So if you're playing within that range, maybe you have a little bit outside of yesterday's range, but the resistance level is still there.
Okay, S&P's just hanging out here, 1260, 56.50, anticipating the CPI that's out in a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break, get a word in from our sponsors, and we'll be back after the CPI with our market movers.